Hey guys, it's Aaron at Colorado Krav Maga Littleton. Been an instructor for about 7 years here, training for about 11 years with Colorado Krav Maga. And today we're going to talk about a downward stab attack. Knife attacks are a very volatile, dangerous situation. Think of getting stabbed multiple times. It's not just a one and done kind of attack. It's very gruesome, very upfront. We want to use this self-defense that was developed by the Israeli military because it's effective. In a high stressful situation, we need to be able to defend that immediate threat, counterattack simultaneously, and then work towards controlling that threat and maybe moving on to a disarm depending on what happens with the situation. So knife attacks can come out of nowhere. It could be just a verbal confrontation starting off, closing that reactionary gap, somebody gets in your face, unbeknownst to you, they reach into their pocket, their waistband, pull out that knife, and all of a sudden, you're not just getting punched, but you're actually getting stabbed. You may not even realize you're getting stabbed until after the fact. So something you kind of do to possibly identify if a weapon's going to be brought to bear in a situation. A lot of knives these days have these little pocket clips on them, so sometimes you can see those sticking out of the pocket depending on where they're carrying their knife. Or if they're kind of furtively trying to hide one hand, keep it behind their body so you can't see what is in that hand, trying to keep you from seeing that they have that weapon, right? So shielding that weapon or something like that so you can't see it until the last possible moment. So talking about this reactionary gap, right? If I got a 2 arms length distance between myself and this potential threat, right? And if I'm here and he brings his arm up to make that stab, I can get my hands up to defend. If he comes in a step closer though, he brings that arm up to make that attack and I'm possibly getting stabbed no matter what, even if I get a defense off, right? But it might be that stab and then I'm defending the second attack that would be coming down the pipeline, or the third, depending on how quickly. But the closer they get to me, the harder it is for me to get up and defend myself in time before I sustain injuries. All right, guys, so ideally, we've got some space between us here. I see this threat early and I'm able to make a clean defense, right? Krav Maga, I want to defend the immediate threat, counterattack simultaneously, burst in, control, separate him from that weapon, and then continue to fight, softening him up, beating the crap out of him until I feel it's safe to go for a takeaway if I need to, right? But ideally, maybe just beating the snot out of him here is what gets me my takeaway. He already drops that knife, right? But if I need to go for my takeaway, I keep control that arm, switch around, replace his hand with mine, and now the knife is in my hand, right? So dealing with that threat, I want to make a 90-degree defense to the attack, 90-degree bend in my arm because I need to stop this forward momentum. If my arm is extended too much, he's just going to slide right down it and I'm still going to get caught with that blade, right? If my defense is too weak, it's too close to my head, I'm still going to get hit by that blade possibly, right? So I need a good 90-degree bend in my arm, 90-degree angle to the attack. My forearm is going to be wrist to wrist with his, and I want a good 90-degree intersection between our wrists, right? At the same time, my free hand is counterattacking. I'm going to punch him in the face with everything I've got to disrupt his thought process, right? That gives me the advantage. I can then press forward depending on what happens with his body. If he's going backwards because of that punch, boom, and driving away, I can kick, make more space, work out other options for myself there. Or if I don't hit him quite as solidly and he's still coming forward with his body weight, I can come in, wrap over the shoulder, and then slide down and separate him from that weapon, right? Keep him away from it and then continue with more combatives to soften him up, right? Hey, quick little break here from the lesson. Keep in mind that you can take Colorado Krav Maga's online curriculum with you anywhere. You can access all kinds of different video lessons for how to make this defense and many others, all you have to do, click right here. If you're in a situation like that, you don't want to just continue to stand in a neutral stance. If you feel like there might be some kind of potential threat coming, you might want to just bring your hands up to your chest a little bit, so you're at least a little bit more prepared rather than stepping directly into a fight stance or something like that. Give them the benefit of the doubt, but you're still starting to get yourself ready to react should you need to. But again, if they're within an arm's length, 2 arms length, something like that, it's different for every person what your reactionary gap time is based on your training and whatnot. But if they get inside that gap, then it's a dangerous situation to be in, especially if you've got that uncomfortable feeling that they may pose a threat. All right, so another situation here. Ideally, we saw that threat further away. Maybe we were distracted by something else. Totally random, didn't expect anything coming from this person, whatever, we turn into it. Or maybe we just weren't prepared enough. They come in, they get at least one shot in first, and now I need to go. And go after a stab. Maybe 1, maybe 2, right? Just because you get stabbed doesn't mean you're out of the fight and you're done. You still got a lot of fight left in you. Do not give up, right? If you do stop, then definitely you're going to sustain more injuries and have to deal with that. But one knife stab, poke, whatever, isn't the end of the fight. Get into that fight, turn that switch, get things turned around in your favor as quickly as possible. So here's something for you to consider. How many times do you think somebody might be able to stab you within a 5 to 10 second period? All right, guys, so look, caught completely off guard, right? My back was to the threat. I'm taking some shots here, getting stabbed. You gotta turn around and get into that fight as soon as possible. This is what's so important about the simultaneous counterattack in Krav Maga, or at least a counterattack as soon as possible when we make our defenses, right? I'm already taking damage. I've already gotten hit at least once. I gotta get turned around, boom, get that punch to recalibrate his brain to offset his thought process, right? Nature of this beast is he's going to be sending these stabs back and forth. Think of a automatic sewing machine needle, pin, bam, 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 popping away, right? Prevent the second, the third, the fourth attack is that punch. That's what's going to reset his computer, get him offline a little bit, give you the chance to turn the tables in your favor, right? If it's a punch or a stab, doesn't matter. You don't want them to get multiple shots in on you. So the best way to do that is to punch them so that they can't be actively attacking you. So we've made our defense, we've counterattacked, we've controlled and isolated this weapon arm, and we've slid down to separate him from that weapon. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm not going to be taking some incidental contact and possibly cuts and stuff like that to my body as we're fighting here, right? He might be manipulating that arm, turning it, twisting it. I might get some superficial cuts, but I'd much rather take that against my body than being punctured repeatedly time and time again by that full blade, right? So you might get some incidental contact, some cuts there from that little bit of articulation that he has there. Again, if I get tight on that wrist here, right, and separate him as much as possible, getting this kind of clamp to my own fist, grabbing my own shirt, whatever, but I really want to get down onto that wrist to limit the range of motion in that hand and prevent that blade from moving as much as possible. But again, it's a dynamic situation. There's still going to be a little bit of movement in there. You may take some incidental cuts, but much better than being stabbed, sliced. All right, guys, thanks for watching us on our downward stab knife defense here. If you're interested in more videos, just shoot us a line and let us know what you want to see. We'll get those videos cranked out for you as well. Thanks for watching. Like our page, and we'll see you next time.